Experience miraculous shifts in your life. 7 divine breaths that manifest heavenly alignment. In the quaint English village of Willowbrook, an ominous cloud loomed over Sarah, a devoted single mother whose heart danced with faith. Yet, this veil of financial struggles had dimmed her once vibrant spirit. The laughter of her children, once brightened by joy, was now tainted with whispers of doubt. "Mom, how can talking to an unseen God change anything?" they'd ask, their innocent skepticism shaking the pillars of her faith. One fateful Saturday, yearning for solace, Sarah found herself at the local chapel. The radiant stained glass windows gleamed as sunbeams danced through, casting kaleidoscopic shadows across the wooden pews. The air hummed with prayers, a divine melody that drew her closer. Here, under the watchful eyes of the revered Father Thomas, something supernatural sparked to life. With kind eyes and a soothing voice, he introduced Sarah to the 7 divine breaths, sacred practices rooted in an unshakable trust in St. Jude, the patron saint of hopeless causes. Each breath, he promised, enveloped one in divine alignment, where miracles awaited. As Sarah inhaled deeply the first breath, she envisioned a community brushed by grace. She gathered her neighbors for shared prayers, hoping for a flicker of faith amidst their turbulent lives. But as they prayed, the heaviness grew. Her eldest, Oliver, fell ill, and mounting bills loomed larger than life, creating chasms of fear in her heart. Yet, as the strains of their prayer echoed, whispers of compassion from those gathered began to fill the chapel. A neighbor, who had scarcely spoken before, shared how a simple meal had restored hope in her family. This ignited a flicker of belief within Sarah. The tangible warmth enveloped her. They were not alone. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Days turned into nights, and shadows of doubt loomed larger. Despite the fervent prayers, secular solutions failed to materialize. In a moment of despair, Sarah embraced the 7th breath in solitude, kneeling before the altar. "God, I trust you, even in chaos," she proclaimed. The very air crackled with divine energy. A soft whisper brushed against her soul, calming her tempestuous heart. Suddenly, as if summoned by her sincerity, miracles began manifesting. Neighbors appeared with baskets brimming with food, hearts overflowing with love. Oliver's illness, once a looming specter, transformed as his laughter trickled back into their home, vibrant and alive. Each meal shared, every prayer uttered, wove the fabric of their faith tighter. Yet, beneath these layers of blessing, a question simmered. What awaited them around the next bend? As the flickers of faith grew bright, shadows of doubt still meandered at the edges. The real test of belief loomed ominously ahead, teasing the edge of fear with an unsettling whisper. Would this joyous revival withstand the next storm? The air felt electric in Willowbrook as Sarah experienced the sweet taste of unexpected hope. Her heart, buoyant with love, danced to the rhythm of laughter now echoing in her modest home. Yet, as joy wrapped tenderly around her family, she sensed another challenge brewing. Each morning, the weight of uncertainty beckoned, often finding its way into her dreams, whispering reminders of the shadows that still lingered. One evening, under the embrace of twilight, she gathered her children, Oliver and little Eliza, by the flickering warmth of the fire. The soft glow illuminated their faces, and Sarah felt compelled to share something precious. "You know," she began, her voice gentle yet steady, "sometimes the most profound miracles come wrapped in trials." Eliza, wide-eyed, asked, "What do you mean, Mom?" "Faith isn't always a clear path. It's like the wind unseen, yet so powerful." At that moment, Oliver's laughter filled the space, a sweet sound that spiraled into joy. Yet Sarah noticed how his eyes flickered with shadows only she could detect. Her heart ached for her son, knowing he still felt the tremors of fear clinging to his spirit. Hoping to lift his spirits, she decided they would take a small adventure the next day. With a picnic basket filled with treats, they set out for the nearby hilltop, a place where the valley stretched endlessly, a divine canvas painted by nature. Sarah felt the soft breeze on her face, carrying whispers of encouragement as they climbed higher. She breathed in the sacred air, igniting her resolve for both her and Oliver. Reaching the summit, the view laid bare before them a landscape sparkling under the sun, a testament to blessings unfurling. "Oh, Mom! It's beautiful!" Eliza exclaimed, running into the grass, arms wide, inviting the glow of the sky. Sarah watched, consumed by a wave of gratitude. Here, in this moment, was a hint from heaven that joy still flourished even amid uncertainty. But the voice in her heart urged her to address Oliver. He stood apart, staring into the horizon, lost in thought. She approached him, kneeling to meet his gaze. "What troubles you, my brave boy?" He hesitated, then whispered, "What if this all disappears? What if the good times don't last?" His vulnerability broke Sarah's heart. "Sometimes the storms come when we least expect them," she replied, with newfound wisdom bubbling up. "But remember, faith is our anchor. Even if the winds howl, we will not drift far from His love." As they shared a prayer together, Sarah felt an unexplainable peace return. The hilltop, a sanctuary, wrapped them in the celestial embrace of the Almighty. The crickets began their evening song, a divine chorus to accompany their prayers. That night, as Sarah tucked her children into bed, she reflected on the beauty of their day. Yet, beneath the surface of peace, an unsettling thought began to creep in. Could her previous hardships return? Would the true test of their faith soon reveal itself? The following morning would break with new challenges, stirring a deeper inquiry within her heart. But what would happen next? Would faith continue to flourish amid shadows? As Sarah whispered a prayer, the answer seemed nigh, teasing the edges of her awareness. The dawn emerged softly over Willowbrook, a tender light casting golden rays that danced over the dew-kissed grass. Sarah awoke, with a lingering unease in her spirit. She could feel it, the heaviness that had accompanied her in the past, a reminder of challenges that loomed just outside the borders of her newfound hope. She breathed deeply, trying to shake off the remnants of fear. The sunlight pouring through the window carried an invitation to step into joy, to embrace the day with faith. Today was a new day. Today would bring a fresh perspective. As she busied herself in the kitchen, preparing breakfast, the delicate aromas of warm bread and sweet, creamy butter filled the home. Eliza shuffled in first, still sleepy-eyed but brightening up at the sight of her mother. "Mom, can we go on another adventure today?" she asked, the thrill of yesterday lingering in her voice. Sarah smiled, but her eyes drifted to Oliver, who lingered in the hall, caught in a moment of hesitation. He was stirring, yet she could see the battle of thoughts swarming in his mind. "What about you, Oliver?" she asked gently. He looked up, a quiet anxiety clouding his expression. "Do we have to go far?" "No, sweetheart. We could explore the woods behind our home. A treasure hunt, perhaps?" Sarah suggested, sensing the need to bolster his courage in simple, light steps. "Yeah, that sounds fun," Eliza cheered, her enthusiasm wrapping around them both like a warm blanket. Suddenly, Oliver's face eased, flickers of excitement dancing in his eyes. "Okay. We'll look for treasure," he declared, his voice gaining strength as he spoke. Sarah felt her heart lift, grateful for the fragile saunter into joy that was growing within her son. With breakfast finished and their spirits ignited, the trio embarked on their journey into the woods. The trees stood tall like ancient guardians, their leaves whispering secrets in the light breeze. The forest was alive with sound, the chirping of birds, the rustling of small creatures in the underbrush, each note weaving together a sacred symphony. As they wandered deeper into the woodlands, Sarah encouraged the children to seek out special treasures, the most vibrant leaf, the smoothest stone, or perhaps a feather. With each small discovery, laughter echoed through the branches, washing away the shadows that held Oliver captive moments before. In that space of wonder, however, Sarah felt a stirring deep within her. The gentle reminder that faith was not always about tangible treasures loomed large in her heart. She knelt beside Oliver, pulling him into her embrace. "You see, love? Every little thing we find is a blessing, a glimpse of his artistry. Sometimes, we find treasures in the quiet moments. He looked at her, comprehension lighting his eyes. Like the laughter? Exactly like the laughter, she smiled, reflecting on the beauty of connection and trust in simple joys, the treasures that could not be quantified, yet filled their hearts abundantly. As they watched a butterfly flit gracefully between flowers, Sarah whispered a quiet prayer of gratitude for this sacred moment. Yet a distant rumble rolled through the sky, an echo that reminded her of storms still to come. Would this day, beautiful as it was, unveil new uncertainties? Was she nurturing faith or holding back the reality of what lay ahead? The sun dipped beneath the trees, casting long shadows across their path. A clarity, both frightening and liberating, loomed ahead. What awaited them in the depths of the woods? Would faith be tested in unexpected ways beyond the comfort of laughter? The air grew still as they ventured deeper into the woods, the sun now a playful shimmer between the leaves. Sarah could feel the warmth of the light, yet an unexpected chill trickled down her spine. Nature held both a divine promise and a secret depth of shadows, and she sensed that their afternoon was poised on the edge of revelation. "Look! A squirrel!" Eliza exclaimed, pointing to a lively creature darting up a nearby tree. Her laughter rang out like a bell, cutting through the silence that momentarily surrounded them. "Sure, Eliza. We need to be quiet so we don't scare it away," Oliver said, a newfound seriousness wrapping around him. It delighted Sarah to see him tuning into his surroundings. "Let us try to find the treasure instead," he suggested, eyes wide with determination. With hearts lightened, they began to search earnestly. Surely, the woods would yield some hidden wonder. Sarah felt a push within, an energy that urged her to dig deeper, not just for leaves and stones, but for something far more significant, something that touched the core of their souls. She closed her eyes for a moment, inhaling the scent of earth and life. "Thank you, Lord," she whispered into the vibrant space around her, "for guiding us to this moment." Suddenly, a rustle among the trees drew their attention. Out stepped an old man, his face weathered by time yet shimmering with an unusual light. His eyes sparkled like the sky on a clear day, and his presence filled the area with warmth, as if the sun had stepped forward to renew itself. "Greetings, young adventurers," he said, his voice rich and inviting. The children gazed in awe, exchanging glances filled with curiosity and a hint of trepidation. Sarah stepped forward, feeling a strange kinship with this figure. "Hello," she replied, her voice gentle. "We're on a treasure hunt, looking for treasures in nature." The old man smiled, a knowing smile that reached deep into his being. "Ah, treasures indeed! But tell me," he asked, "what do you call a treasure?" Sarah took a moment to ponder. "Something beautiful, something that brings joy or peace," she began, eyes lingering on the children, "a memory or a moment, perhaps." The man nodded slowly, as if affirming a truth that transcended words. "You are all seekers, aren't you? You search for treasure," yet he paused deliberately, lowering his voice to a whisper that felt like a soft breeze against their ears. "There is a greater treasure yet to be revealed to you." The tension in the air shifted as if the trees themselves were listening intently. "What do you mean?" Oliver asked, his tone a cautious mix of hope and uncertainty. "It is faith," the old man replied. "It is faith that will lead you to your greatest treasure. The kind that transcends time, the kind that will nourish your spirits and fill your hearts with peace." Before Sarah could ask for more clarity, the atmosphere pulsed. The ground beneath them hummed with a gentle vibration, and a dazzling light flickered around the man's form. Eliza gasped softly, clasping Oliver's hand, while Sarah felt the weight of something transformative settling upon them. It was as if heaven had opened momentarily, offering a glimpse into deeper truths. "I must go now, but remember," the old man said, the light beginning to recede. "Seek with sincerity, and the treasure of faith shall reveal itself in ways you cannot yet imagine. Trust that darkness can birth the brightest mornings." With those final words he stepped back, blending into the shadows of the forest, as if he disappeared entirely. A sense of stillness fell over the woods, leaving Sarah and her children standing in silence, their hearts racing. What had just happened? A miracle, a divine encounter that called them to reflect deeper than they had been prepared for. Would they carry the old man's words with them? Would they step forward into faith, trusting in the unseen paths that lay ahead? They glanced at one another, questions swirling in the air like leaves caught in the wind. What treasures awaited them next? The adventure had only just begun. The woods hummed softly around them, a whispering wind carrying the remnants of the old man's words. Sarah blinked, looking from Oliver to Eliza. The warmth of the moment still enveloped them, yet uncertainty began to coil in her heart. "Do you think he was real?" Eliza asked, her wide eyes shimmering like the sun above. "I think he was," Oliver replied firmly, a newfound confidence echoing in his voice. "He had that special light about him, like he knew something we don't." That spark of faith lit a fire within Sarah. Her children were grasping something profound, something beyond the day's sun-dappled surface. "He spoke of faith, didn't he?" She smiled gently. "What if our treasure is not something we can touch, but something we feel within?" A few steps forward, they began to wander again, each keeping their eyes peeled for signs of divine touch, a glimmering stone, an unusual flower, maybe even something that beckoned them deeper into understanding. With each new discovery, they ventured further, hearts open to the mystery laid before them. As they walked, Sarah noticed how the sun slanted toward the horizon, casting long shadows that danced between the trees. "Let us listen," she urged them softly, bringing her finger to her lips. "There's more than just silence here." They paused, kneeling near a cluster of wildflowers that swayed gently. Nature's beauty spoke louder than ever. The melody of chirping birds blended with the distant sound of flowing water, creating a symphony of creation. Sarah closed her eyes once more, inhaling deeply. The scent of blooming flowers filled her senses, grounding her spirit. "Thank you, Lord, for this day, for the wonders of your world," she breathed, feeling gratitude spill over her heart. A gentle rustling caught her attention. Standing before them was a small rabbit, its nose twitching as if curious about their presence. Eliza gasped, and for a moment, the creature felt like a sign, a gift of nature acknowledging their quest for more than just earthly treasures. "Look, it's so cute!" she squealed, creeping slowly closer. "Wait, let it come to us," Oliver whispered, embodying patience. They all sat still, hearts beating as one with the pulse of the woods. Moments felt like hours, the silent conversation shared with the timid creature igniting a warmth in Sarah's heart. Underneath the delicate exterior of the rabbit lay something sacred. Each second spent waiting deepened her understanding of faith, a trust that goes beyond sight. And then, as if sensing their quiet resolve, the rabbit approached. A smile emerged on Sarah's face, gently blossoming into laughter as the rabbit paused, just inches from her outstretched hand. The miracle lay in that fleeting moment, a bond formed in stillness that spoke volumes. "See?" Oliver beamed. "Faith brought him to us." "Yes, it did," Sarah replied, emotion swelling within her. "Just like the old man said, faith illuminates the unseen." They rejoiced together, hearts tangling with sweet excitement. They had indeed unearthed something invaluable, learning that faith requires patience, stillness, and a sense of wonder. Yet, while they basked in this newfound understanding, a thread of unanswered questions lingered in the air, teasing the edges of their curiosity. What other dimensions of faith awaited them? What hidden truths were tangled in the shadows of the forest? As they continued their journey, deeper into the woods, anticipation fluttered like sparrows taking flight. What awaited them next? As they ventured deeper into the woods, the air shimmered with a newfound vibrancy. It was as if the forest itself was holding its breath, waiting for them to uncover the next layer of its mystery. The path beneath their feet felt softer, each step a gentle caress against the earth. "Do you feel that?" Sarah asked, pausing to soak in the atmosphere. Eliza nodded emphatically, her little face lit with awe. "It's like the trees are whispering secrets." Oliver glanced around, peering into the deepening shadows. "Maybe they are. What if they're telling us more about faith?" His voice was low, as if he feared to break the enchantment that enveloped them. Intrigued, they moved onward, the sound of leaves crunching beneath them mingling with the gentle rustle of branches overhead. The sun dipped lower, painting the sky with hues of gold and amber. With each passing moment, the world felt more alive. Remember what the old man said about seeing with our hearts? Sarah reminded them as they approached a clearing. Let us look for the unseen. The clearing opened before them, revealing a small pond, its surface reflecting the kaleidoscope of colors in the sky. The water was still, inviting, calling them closer. They approached with reverence, sensing something sacred about this tranquil place. While Eliza breathed, the golden light danced across the water, and for a few moments, they stood in silent admiration. Let us dip our fingers in, Oliver suggested, reaching down to touch the cool surface. Ripples danced outward, distorting their reflections. Sarah knelt beside him. It's like life, isn't it? Each moment sends out ripples beyond what we can see. They all watched the water, captivated by its beauty and mystery. As they reflected on their earlier encounter, the sense of connection to faith deepened. It appeared everywhere, even in the very world around them. A sudden gust of wind swirled through the clearing, sending a flurry of leaves cascading around them. In that moment, Sarah felt a stirring in her heart. It felt as if the forest was alive with whispers, urging them to listen beyond the visible. Close your eyes, she said gently, urging her children to do the same. Let us feel what God wants to share with us. As they stood there, eyes closed and hands joined, a profound calm settled over them. Peace wrapped around them like a warm blanket, each heartbeat resonating with the rhythm of nature. God, show us your wonders, Sarah prayed softly, her voice barely above a whisper. In the silence that followed, she felt a divine presence, a sense of assurance that there was so much more awaiting them. The old man's words echoed in her mind, urging her to trust and believe in what she couldn't yet see. Eliza opened her eyes suddenly, her face alight with wonder. Look! Just beyond the pond, a shimmering light flickered among the trees. It beckoned them, pulsing gently like a heartbeat. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. Is it an angel? Oliver whispered in awe, eyes wide with surprise. The light danced and twinkled, inviting them closer, promising answers to the questions that lay heavy upon their hearts. Let us follow it, Sarah urged, her heart racing with both excitement and trepidation. As they took their first steps toward the light, an unshakable faith surged within them. But beneath that faith lay another question, one that danced excitedly at the edges of their minds. What awaited them in that glowing mystery? What revelations lay hidden behind the veil of divine light? Determined, they moved forward, hearts open, praying for the wisdom to understand the journey ahead. The shimmering light beckoned them closer, dancing playfully like a flickering candle flame in the wind. Each step felt like a gentle nudge from the Spirit, whispering encouragement. Sarah felt the warmth of divine assurance filling her heart, a prompt to trust even when the path ahead was unclear. Look how beautiful it is! Eliza exclaimed, her eyes filled with wonder. They had almost reached the light, the air now thick with anticipation. It felt as if the forest was holding its breath too, waiting for something miraculous to unfold. Oliver, cautious yet curious, frowned slightly. But what if it's dangerous? His words hung over them like a veil of doubt. Sarah knelt down, meeting her son's gaze. Faith is like that, Ollie. Sometimes we have to step out, even when we're unsure. It's in those moments that we might find what we're really looking for. God doesn't always show the whole picture. Sometimes, we have to trust in the unseen. With that, they ventured forward, drawn towards the glow. As they entered a grove encircled by ancient trees, the light intensified, illuminating the area with a golden hue that felt almost tangible, wrapping around them like an embrace from heaven. While Sarah breathed, realizing they had stepped into a secret world. Each leaf glimmered as if dipped in grace, and the air was filled with a soft, melodious hum. The light shifted, swirling gently, revealing an ethereal figure within its embrace. It was not fearsome, but radiated warmth and kindness. You've sought the unseen with open hearts, the figure spoke, its voice fluid and calming. What you seek lies in the depths of faith. This is incredible, Eliza whispered, her tiny fingers reaching towards the figure. There was no fear in her eyes, only wonder. Yes, the figure continued, but faith must be nurtured. It demands patience, courage, and above all, love. Sarah felt a wave of understanding wash over her. Here was a divine lesson, simple yet profound. She remembered the old man's words about seeing with the heart. The light was a promise, an invitation to discover the miracles woven into their lives, waiting to be embraced. And what if we struggle? Oliver asked, his innocence revealing a deep truth. What if our faith wavers? The figure smiled gently, illuminating the grove even more. That is part of the journey. Doubt is not the absence of faith, it is a catalyst for growth. When you waver, turn your heart towards love. Love will always guide you back. Sarah felt tears prickling at the corners of her eyes. The message resonated deeply within her. Each struggle, every doubt, was a step toward a deeper relationship with God, a chance to strengthen their faith. Will you always be there for us? Eliza asked, her little voice soft and full of hope. Always, echoed the light, as it began to shimmer and dance once more, beckoning them to join in its rhythm. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you. As they stood beneath the warm glow, Sarah, Oliver, and Eliza joined hands, hearts swelling with gratitude. The lessons of love and faith ignited a fire within them. They felt renewed, encouraged, and filled with purpose as the light gradually began to fade, leaving only its gentle warmth behind. The grove now felt more like home, and as they turned to leave, the question lingered in the beautiful silence. What would they uncover on the rest of their journey? Where faith would take them next? What new revelations awaited them as they continued to seek God's wonders? As they began their walk away from the grove, the forest felt alive, pulsing with the energy of the divine. Birds sang sweet melodies, and the rustle of leaves seemed like whispered prayers. Each footstep carried with it a sense of renewal. Oliver took a deep breath, inhaling the fragrance of blooming flowers. It felt like we were just part of something bigger, he said, his voice filled with awe. Yes, Eliza chirped, skipping ahead. Like we were in a dream. I want to go back and dance with the light. Sarah smiled at their joy, but a question lingered in her mind. What did it mean to truly nurture their faith? As they walked, the shadows of the trees began to stretch long in the golden light of fading day. They followed a narrow path, feeling drawn to the unknown. Yet doubt nibbled at the edges of Sarah's encouragement. The world felt vast and uncertain, and there were moments when the warmth of the grove seemed far away. Do you think we can always find that light again? Sarah asked, her voice quiet, almost lost in the gentle rustle. It's in us now, Mom, Oliver offered, looking thoughtfully at his sister. Remember the lesson from the figure? If we keep looking, we'll find it. Right, she murmured, her heart swelling with hope. Yes, love would guide them. But the journey ahead felt daunting. Each step into the unknown was both thrilling and fearsome. Suddenly, from a nearby thicket, a small creature scurried into view. It was a little rabbit, its fur shimmering like sugar-coated dreams. The children giggled as it hopped around, seemingly unbothered by their presence. Look at it! Eliza squealed, crouching low, eyes wide with delight. It's so cute! I wonder if it knows the grove, Oliver pondered, already contemplating the lessons it might hold. Sarah observed her children, reminded of how simple faith could be, a childlike trust in what they couldn't see. Let us follow it, she suggested. The rabbit bounced ahead, turning back occasionally as if to ensure they were close behind. As they walked, the sounds of the forest began to shift. The air buzzed with excitement, creating a rhythm that echoed in their hearts. The path wound deeper into the woods, and with each step, they felt tethered to something sacred. A rustle in the bushes caught Sarah's attention. Her heart quickened. What else might they encounter? The rabbit led them towards a clearing where the air sparkled with a new, delightful essence. In the center stood a small but striking fountain, its waters dancing joyfully under the remaining sun. Eliza gasped. It looks magical. I wonder what is it for? It must be a place of healing and blessings, Oliver replied, eyes twinkling. They gathered around the fountain, mesmerized. Let us make a wish, Eliza said, echoing the innocence of her heart, her hands folded together as if in prayer. They each took a moment, whispering their wishes into the air, the echoes drifting upwards like gentle offerings. Sarah closed her eyes, feeling the weight of their hopes, a divine connection igniting between them. In the stillness, a soft breeze swept through, and a fresh wave of warmth enveloped them. The thrill of being in a holy place filled Sarah with a certainty. They were being guided. As they wished, the fountain shimmered, rippling its clear waters in a dance of light that made Sarah's heart soar. Just then, a thought struck her. What if we don't need to wait for miracles to find us? What if we are called to create them through our faith? The children, sensing a new purpose, put their hands into the fountain together, awakening something within its depths. Just like the light in the grove, Oliver said, contemplating his mother's words as they gazed at the playful splashes. But what if there's more to discover? Eliza whispered, her eyes shining with the wonder of possibility. In that moment, Sarah felt a deep stirring within, an unshakable sense that this discovery was just the beginning of something beautiful. What would happen next? What revelations lay hidden just around the bend? As they drew closer to the fountain, the weight of mystery lingered heavily on the air, urging them onwards. The air shimmered around the fountain, and Sarah felt a tug at her heart, an invitation to reach deeper. The water sang softly, as if revealing secrets to those who were willing to listen, to trust. Eliza leaned closer, her fingers grazing the cool surface, and the fountain responded with a cascade of sparkles, a silent encouragement to join in the wonder. "What do you think it means?" Oliver asked, his gaze fixed on the water's mesmerizing dance. Each droplet caught the light, creating tiny rainbows that whispered of hope and faith. "I believe it means there's always a flow of grace available to us," Sarah replied. "Just like the water, we need to tap into it, to allow it to nourish our souls." Her heart felt light, like a balloon filled with the fresh air of the glade. And then, a sudden idea illuminated her mind. What if the fountain is a symbol? A reminder that no matter where we wander, we can always return to the source of our faith? Eliza's eyes sparkled with understanding. Like being filled up with God's love? Yes. Exactly. Sarah smiled, amazed at how swiftly her children grasped these spiritual wonders. The air shifted again, swirling playfully. Shadows danced in the glade, wrapping around them like a warm embrace. Nature, it seemed, was alive with anticipation, a divine audience waiting for the next unfolding miracle. Suddenly, the rabbit that had guided them to this sacred spot hopped closer, tilting its head as if it were ready to share its own secret. Oliver knelt down, acknowledging the delicate creature. "Do you think it has a message?" "Perhaps it does," Sarah pondered, feeling the thread of connection weaving tighter between them and the world around them. Every creature has a role in this tapestry of life. With renewed intrigue, they began conversing quietly amongst themselves, discussing the lessons the rabbit might teach, the significance of signs found in nature. Was there more than just a playful spirit in its movement? Did it represent purity or the essence of trust? As their conversation deepened, Sarah sensed a joyful flicker of energy rising in the group, a bubbling excitement of shared exploration. "What if we follow it and find out what lies beyond this fountain?" she suggested, her heart excitedly racing. "Let us do it!" Eliza squealed, bouncing onto her feet. The rabbit hopped a few steps forward and looked back, as though waiting for them to follow. As they stepped onto a new path, the woods came alive with sounds, the chirping of birds, the rustling of leaves, and the gentle trickle of the fountain fading behind them. Every sound felt like a divine chorus, affirming their quest for deeper understanding. They ventured forth, filled with questions about the journey ahead. What would they discover? Would they encounter more magical sights? Would faith guide them through uncertain terrain? In the midst of their excitement, Sarah felt a grounding presence. It was as if the forest itself was acknowledging their steps, reminding them they were never alone. Each footfall echoed with a purpose, a rhythm of divine love propelling them onward into the unfolding mystery ahead. But as the path twisted further into the heart of the woodlands, the light began to wane. Shadows loomed larger, and the once inviting forest now felt a tad daunting. Anxiety prickled at the edge of Sarah's spirit. Was this part of the journey? Would they find darkness even in the light of faith? "Keep close," Sarah urged the children, a wave of reassurance washing over her. Yet in her heart, a question lingered, a mirror reflecting her own doubts and marvels. What awaited beyond this point? Was it just woodland or something more? What truths lay hidden in the shadows? Only time would reveal the answers as they pressed on together, hearts united in an unbroken thread of hope. As the daylight waned, Sarah, Oliver, and Eliza pressed on through the woods, their hearts pounding in tandem with the rhythm of nature. The air thickened with whispers of ancient trees, and the shadows deepened ominously. Yet amid the growing darkness, a flicker of resolve ignited within Sarah. They had journeyed far, faced the unseen, and although fears lurked, so did faith. "Remember the light," she whispered, grasping her children's hands tightly. "Even the darkest paths lead to new revelations." Eliza glanced up, eyes sparkling with innocence. "But what's waiting for us, Mum?" Her voice trembled slightly but was filled with hope. "I don't know, sweetheart," Sarah replied truthfully, "but I believe it will be beautiful, just like the treasures we've found so far." As they walked deeper, a sudden hush fell over the forest, as if it too awaited something monumental. The quiet was tangible, wrapping around them like a gentle embrace. With every step, Sarah felt the warmth of their shared faith brightening even the gloomiest corners of her resolve. Then they spotted it, a soft, radiant glow piercing through the trees, beckoning them forward like a beacon in the night. Hope surged within Sarah's chest, urging her forward as they stepped into the clearing, awash in light. There it was, a magnificent tree unlike any they had ever seen. Its bark shimmered like polished silver, its leaves cascading like emerald ribbons in a gentle breeze, each reflecting the soft glow of the light they had followed. A sensation danced in the air, a pulse of life, love, and divine connection reverberating through the space. "What is it?" Oliver asked, awe spilling from his voice. "It feels sacred." Sarah smiled, overwhelmed by the warmth wrapping around them. "This must be a holy place, a meeting point between heaven and earth." As they stepped closer, they realized the tree bore exquisite fruits that glowed with a golden sheen. Each fruit seemed to hum, vibrating with untold blessings and promises. "Mom, can we touch it?" Eliza whispered, her excitement bubbling over. "Let us ask for guidance first," Sarah suggested, kneeling before the radiant tree. "Lord, we seek your wisdom. Show us the way." As she prayed, an inexplicable peace fell over the clearing, and the tree responded. One of its vibrant fruits detached gently and floated down to rest in Sarah's hands. It felt warm, pulsing with energy and life. "This is a gift," she breathed, recognizing the significance. "What does it mean?" Oliver asked, gazing at the fruit with wide eyes. "This fruit holds the promise of faith fulfilled," Sarah replied, heart swelling. "It's a reminder that as we believe and nurture our faith, blessings will abound." With a deep breath, she took a bite. Sweetness exploded on her tongue, cascading warmth and light through her being. Joy radiated from her core, spilling into her children as they too took turns tasting. With each bite, laughter erupted, each child shining brighter than the last, their fears dissipating into the night air like fog in the morning sun. Suddenly, the shadows around the clearing began to retract, retreating like a fading dream, revealing vibrant colors of wildflowers bursting to life in the forest floor. Everything felt aligned, as if the world was celebrating their newfound understanding, a dance of gratitude. "Mom, I feel so happy!" Eliza giggled, her cheeks glowing. Oliver chuckled, the joy radiating from him like earlier sunlight. "Faith is the fruit of love," Sarah exclaimed, enveloping her children in her embrace. As they savored the wonder, an undeniable truth washed over them. Every trial had led them here, to this moment. The challenges had shaped their hearts, refined their faith, making them resilient stewards of love. "Remember," Sarah said softly, "every one of us carries that light. No matter how dark it gets, faith will lead us home." Together, hugging their treasure tight, they turned to leave the clearing, hearts singing as they felt the warmth of the divine guiding them back. The woods no longer felt daunting but inviting, ready to share more treasures along the path of faith. As they walked hand in hand, shadows turned into whispers of encouragement. Their hearts pulsed with the rhythm of possibility. Bright moments lay before them, waiting to unfold, as they embraced the journey ahead with joy, courage, and unwavering hope. This was their testimony, a story woven through trials, laughter, and love, culminating in the realization that faith is indeed the brightest treasure of all. Now, dear friends, if you felt the power of this story, this is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you won't miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, and comment your reactions and testimonies about this ending. Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this divine manifestation. Together, let us spread the message of faith,